Welcome home to St. Anne's, a place of community, love, and faith. No matter who you are or where you are in your spiritual journey, there's a place for you at Christ's table. Join us Sundays at 10 a.m. or anytime online. We look forward to seeing you.
Sometimes the gospel gives us happy Jesus. Sometimes the gospel gives us angry Jesus. And sometimes the gospel seems to give us smitey Jesus. So this would probably be one of those gospels that Hollywood could make into a blockbuster, action-packed disaster movie. So let's set the scene. Just before our gospel today, Jesus has told his disciples that the woman who gave her last coins as an offering in the temple gave more than all the wealthy people who gave some of their coins. So now, in today's gospel, the disciples might be bored. They're in this amazing place. They start looking around and marveling at this temple and the extraordinary beauty therein. This is the temple that was built by Herod the Great, someone known for the fantastic architecture he commissioned throughout the realm. This temple, which to put in our day's perspective, was larger than a football field. Now the Chiefs play later today, so just imagine a temple larger than where they're playing. It took decades to build this temple, and it still wasn't finished even when Jesus and his disciples were there. But even unfinished, this temple was awe-inspiring. Built with massive stones, some measuring more than 30 feet in length, suggested strength and stability of the realm. Gold adornments shone brightly in the sunlight, symbolizing power, purity, wisdom, and wealth. For the disciples, standing in the midst of this fortress of God, the temple represented permanence, it represented stability, and a sacred certainty. To them, it was the one place that seemed immovable. It was the center of their faith, this visible sign of God's presence and the anchor of their identity as God's chosen people. And now Jesus is telling them the days will come when not one stone will be left upon another. The disciples had to be dismayed and distressed. They even asked Jesus, when would this happen? Give us a timeline, Jesus. But Jesus doesn't tell them when. No, he goes on and instead tells them that nations will war against one another. Kingdoms will rise and fall. Natural disasters like earthquakes, famines, and plagues will occur. Jesus' words are distressing to us even now. 5 years ago, we experienced a global pandemic. And it's distressing to us now because if we're honest, many of us have our own temples, those things we count on to give our lives stability and meaning. It might be this building. It might be our job, our health, our reputation, our family, our privilege. We like to believe that these stones will stay in place, but Jesus reminds us they won't. Jesus wasn't trying to terrify the disciples or us millennia later. He was telling the truth. Granted, a hard truth, but that was kind of Jesus' MO. The temple these disciples were standing in would fall to Rome. Empires do crumble. Nations rise and nations fall. Jobs disappear. Money runs dry. Relationships fracture. Bodies fail. In the midst of Jesus' account of devastation and destruction to come, it is so easy to miss God's still small voice. Did you miss it? See, here's the deeper truth of this passage. Jesus is not describing the end of everything. He's describing the birth of something new. When everything stable is shaken, when the stones fall and the world feels uncertain, God is still at work. Do not be terrified, Jesus says. This will give you an opportunity to testify. Those words may be among the most pastoral and prophetic Jesus ever spoke. Do not be terrified. Jesus doesn't promise safety. He doesn't say we'll avoid making sacrifices or suffering. What he promises in the middle of upheaval, when the old structures crumble and fear permeates the air, he promises that we will have a chance to bear witness to God's faithfulness. He doesn't say this will give you an opportunity to fight back. He doesn't say this will give you an opportunity to grasp for control. He says that uncertainty creates a space for witness, rooted in compassion, truth, and steadfast love. This is what it means to follow Christ in a precarious age, rife with chaos. To stand in the ruins and say, God is still here. And in many ways, we find ourselves in a moment of standing amidst the rubble. Our own nation is deeply politically divided. We watch the news and see wars raging across the globe. Wildfires, floods, and hurricanes are gutting communities. An increasing number of people are facing food insecurity and being houseless. The world feels anxious and fragile. And it is so tempting to rebuild the temple as it once was, to grasp for the Rockwellian, Andy Griffith idealized world. But maybe Jesus is inviting us to something deeper. Maybe he's saying, don't cling to the stones. Look for me in the rubble. Because resurrection always begins in a tomb. Jesus tells his followers, you will be betrayed. You will be hated. Some of you will even die. But not a hair on your head will perish. By your endurance, you will gain your souls. That's not a contradiction. It's a promise that even when everything external falls apart, the life of the soul, the life rooted in God, cannot be destroyed. The world can take many things from us, but it cannot take away the love that holds us fast, the love of God. As baptized followers of Jesus, we are called to stand right there, right in the tension between what is falling and what is being born. We stand at the crumbling edge of the world's uncertainties and proclaim that God's kingdom is coming. We do that through acts of service, through courage, through compassion, through a steadfast presence that refuses to give in to fear. Every time we visit the sick, feed the hungry, speak truth to power, or simply sit with someone in pain, we are testifying that God is not absent. God is here, even now, especially now. So today, as we hear Jesus speak about wars, earthquakes, and betrayal, I challenge us to listen not with fear, but with faith. because these are not signs of God's absence. They are invitations to bear witness and point toward God's transformative power. When the world feels like it's ending, Christians are called to begin again. When the stones fall, we build altars of compassion. When the noise of fear rises, we speak words of hope. And through it all, Jesus says, by your endurance, you will gain your souls. Amen.
We believe in one God, the Father, the Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, all that is.
We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.